All right. Okay, welcome back, everyone. If you haven't got your cell phones in the caddy, let's do that now. I know today you are going to get an assignment today, so be aware of that. I think I sent out an email last night. Sorry, you probably received a bunch of emails from me last night. I sent out, the Google Classroom just to inform you like what we did Friday. Send out the links in case you need to go see it. Then I sent out, the links to the Zoom if you're going to be gone today. I always put that on, a weekly email. I try to do that. Then I usually always get the emails prepped for this morning, and I send it out in the morning, like 7:30 in the morning. I usually have an email sent out that gives you the Zoom link. So there's one, and I always send that out, and I always have it scheduled for 7:30 this morning, and I didn't even think about it last night. I was just typing emails. I sent it, went to the next class, sent yours, went to the third class, sent theirs, and I got to like 7th period, and I was sending an email. I'm like, I haven't scheduled any of these emails. I've been just sending them out. So like every class got a ton of emails from me last night. Sorry. Didn't even think about it. I was just in like the zone, like typing away, and didn't realize I wasn't scheduling any email. It was just going out like instantly. So my bad. But at least you had the links for everything as of last night. Probably about 11 o'clock last night. So but yeah, so let's go through a couple notes today. You will have an assignment. So if you checked out the email that I sent last night, gave you the Zoom links today. It said we're going to get a worksheet today. You're going to get a worksheet. I think it's 7-5 today, and then it will be due on Wednesday this week. And that's the one where you're going to need a calculator. We started this stuff on Friday. It's based on rolls and sheetrocking. I want to talk about them today. I want to do at least an example of each type. If you need more, we'll do more examples, obviously. But I want to get at least one example of each type for what you're going to have to do. Now, the good news is we're not going to have to deal with windows or doors. I'm not going to have you deal with any of that. We're just going to imagine you're sheetrocking a very plain, generic room. That way you're not like thinking too hard about the problem. So we'll kind of go through that. So let me get rid of these. All right, so this is kind of the idea. So you have a room, you have a bunch of walls coming off of it. So there's that one. Let's just close this out. We'll just put a bunch of rooms connected. There we go. Nope, don't want that one. Close. Or not. Doesn't like that one for some reason. All right. Oh, good Lord. Just let me grab that one. Yes. Let me move it. Okay, here we go. Now we're on the move. Okay, so we got a bunch of rooms here. Okay, so very generically, we're going to be talking about, so imagine the middle was the room. These are the 4 walls that I kind of folded outwards that we haven't installed yet. So those are the 4 walls just fallen, outwards out of the room. And what we're going to do is we're going to do sheetrock first on this, and then we'll talk about how to do insulation on the next one. So you have 2 types of problems that you have: either sheetrocking or just insulation. That's the only 2 types of problems you have. So let's do sheetrock first. I think we did that one last on Friday, so we'll do that one first today. Okay, so sheetrock, what we need to know is the dimensions of our room, so that we can figure out how many, panes of this or sheets that we'll need for the sheetrock. So I'll give you guys choice for dimensions. What are the dimensions of your room? What would you like it to be? Length, width, and then the last number is always height of your room. Pick any number you like.
12 by 17.
12 by 17? Okay, let's do that. So it's 12 by 17. Okay, and how tall are the walls?
7.
Say it again. 7. You said 7? Did you guys echo that at the same time?
No, I think he said 3. I said 7.
7. I'm going 7. So going 7. That's probably a little bit shorter than normal, but I'll go with it. We'll go with a 7 foot. Maybe it's a shorter, smaller house, or maybe it's a basement. So tiny home. There you go. So we're going to go with dimensions on this. So let's say we're buying our sheetrock for this one. So we're doing sheetrocking first. So what we have to do on the sheetrocking is we basically have to figure out the dimensions, the area of each of these walls here. So there's a couple different ways you could do it, but you find the areas of the walls here, and then you can divide by what the area of the sheetrock would be. You could do it that way, where So if you know your total area, you can divide by what the area of one sheet is, and it will tell you how many sheets you need to buy. Now, the only problem with doing something like that is it's not exact. Like, you wouldn't be installing sheetrock if it was a very small sliver of, sheetrock. You wouldn't be doing that. You have to screw it into the actual joists and joints of the home itself. You wouldn't just like put weird random small pieces everywhere. So now on this particular problem, I'm going to say that our sheets are, let's say that they're let's go that our sheets are 12 by 3.5 sheets. Say that's what our sheets are. So 12 by 3.5 foot sheets. That's our sheetrock. Okay. We could pick any height. I mean, I could pick 4, I could pick 5. You saw the website that we used the other day. I mean, you could pick any size sheetrock. I can go 10 by 6 if I wanted to. So it does cost a little bit if you get some weird sizes. So let's say the sheet of this is our sheetrock. Let's say this costs $6.35. So the price of this thing is $6.35 a sheet. Per sheet. Yeah, pretty cheap. It's smaller, so it might be why it's cheaper. It's not as big as some of the other ones that we used the other day. God, what were the ones we were using the other day? 9 by 10s? So yeah, they were just big sheets. So. Oh, were they 4 by 10? Might have been 4 by 10.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, because
Yeah.
the wall was 8 foot.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. So yeah. So those prices went up to what, almost $10-11, something like that. So yeah. So this is cheaper, I guess, in terms of price. So all right, we're gonna put these in. So we're gonna install them. We're gonna install them on the walls. So the only walls I'm kind of worried about are these weird generic walls off to the side, like these over here, these side ones, because the wall is 17 feet long. So that's gonna get a little weird in there, but we'll just kind of see what we can do here. So I'm going to do this top one first. I'm going to do this one up here first. Okay, so when I install a sheet, now when I do this, I draw. I don't think it's important that you do this. I just like to see it visually in front of me. So if I install these, this is 12 by 7. I should be able to just put 2 of these sheets on that wall. So that's 1, that's 2. So far I'm buying 2 sheets just for that wall alone. And then same with the bottom wall down here. This has the exact same dimensions. It's still 12 by 7. And why it's 2? Because 3.5, doubled up makes a total of 7. So down here again, same thing as before. I can get away with just 2 sheets. So there's 3 and 4. So currently right now I'm up to 4 sheets of the sheetrock that I need. Now here comes the issue. On the side walls, we have a weird issue. So it comes down to like personal preference and how you want to do this. It really comes down to who your contractor is, how you want to do this. I have this idea of what I would do, but just because of the size of this thing, I don't know how it would work. Okay, so we're going to install those sheets. So what I would, if I was doing this on these side walls, I would install the first 2 like this. This is how I would do it. Yeah. Yeah, you can trim them like, a little ways down. You don't have to go all the way. You don't have to put all 12 feet. You could go, 6 by 3.5, kind of cut that up a little bit. I know it doesn't seem right. You don't want to put a weird smaller one over here. You could get away with it. I mean, you could go a full sheet over there where, you could go 7 feet high and just whatever's left, because it could potentially work. Because this would be, a full sheet here if you went all 12 by 3.5 and 12 by 3.5. You could use a full sheet. You could do that. I don't know if I would. I'd probably cut it down like Graf was saying. Just, maybe go in half or go a little bit shorter. But it really comes down to what's left. So obviously this would be a 7 foot, strip, but what would this length be here? Anyone happen to know what that little length would be? It'd be 5 feet. So this is the reason why I wouldn't do this, is that I would have to go either buy like a weird random sheet that's, maybe, something bigger than what I have here, because my sheets are only 3.5 foot wide by 12 foot. So I couldn't just turn this thing like sideways and fit it in there. So like what Graf was saying is, like, if you trim down one of our sheets, you could get away with, using some bigger sheets on that. And I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to trim it down a little bit so I could, it's not using full sheets here, and you're probably going to waste a little bit, but it might look better than, trying to piece together some weird sizes here. I just wouldn't do this. Yeah, I'd probably just trim two sheets down. So I'd probably do it this way. This might be a little weird. I'll probably trim down a sheet where I'll go, like this, where I'll go 5 by 3.5. I'll probably just trim it down like that. Just because I don't want to waste too much. If I trim that down, so far this is sheet 5 and 6, I could get away with, this would be the 7th sheet. That could be. The reason why I can get away with that is that I can take this 12-foot sheet, now it's 12 foot long, cut off 2 of the feet of it, so now it's down to 10 by 3.5, and then cut that baby in half. And that's what I can get away with doing, something like that. I'd keep this extra piece I got rid of, just because if the electricians come in and they have to install sockets and they're cutting out, patches and holes in your wall later, you could fill it in with one of those. So I wouldn't get rid of it. That's probably what I do, just because I don't want to waste too much. That's the thing. And when you mud it, you wouldn't see it anyway. It looks seamless. Okay, does that make sense how I did that though? Okay, so if I did that 7th sheet right there, I still have an extra like little 2-foot band, 2 foot by 3.5 foot band that I still have left over, that I probably wouldn't need. And I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'd probably do the exact same, design. I would just go the other direction. I'd go, this way. So it's not on both the sides of the same side of the room, in case it looks weird. So this would be sheet 8 and 9, and this would be number 10. That's probably what I would do. So how many total sheets do I need? 10 at $6. So 10 sheets at $6.35. What, $63.50 total? Okay, so when I do these, I draw everything out. I know it seems super weird. I just like to see the design that I'm going to do, see if it makes sense. Maybe I need to cut it a little bit differently. But again, on your Google form today, all you're going to tell me is how many sheets you're going to use and what the price is going to be. Okay, I would save this work off to the side in case I disagree with how many sheets you should use, so I can see like how did you justify yours. Maybe you said you needed 12, but I only needed 10. How did you do yours? Maybe you didn't like this idea of using this half sheet over here. Maybe you took 2 bigger sheets and cut them down, like what Brad was kind of talking about earlier, where you cut these 12 foots down a little bit, so you actually use like more than, you actually use like 4 sheets, but you're cutting them down a little bit in halves to make it kind of work a little bit better, or a little bit. I wouldn't. I try to go as minimum as possible, but try to make it look decent without weird patching everywhere. Because remember, you still got to like screw these into the wood, the frame. And so you don't want to have like too small. It'll look weird. It just wouldn't fit right. And you don't want the walls to be weak. So minimum joints are better. Okay, questions with the sheetrocking though. Okay, so that you're gonna have, I think, 3 of those in the homework today. You have to do three rooms where you sheetrock it. It'll have a different dimension. I will provide you with what the sheets are going to come in, so you have to figure out how to piece it together. Does that make sense how you're going to do it? And the dimensions I kind of picked, the sheets should work pretty good. Like, they're not going to be too bad. You should be able to figure out a way to do it. And I don't care, maybe you want to put them vertical. I just wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do it. It's not a good way to do it. So Try to go horizontal as much as possible. Just good practice. All right, let's go to the last one. Now we got to do rolls of insulation. So let's do the same thing. Draw a bunch of rooms here. Okay, and we're going to do insulation. We're just going to do it for just the walls. We're not going to do ceiling today. That's something maybe we'll do like a Google question of the day tomorrow on that, just so you can see it. So we're going to be putting insulation in. So we're going to use the dimensions. So you guys can make any dimensions you want. How do you want to do it?
20.
20 by?
15.
Which, what? 15? Okay, let's go 20 by 15. And I'm going to say it's an 8-foot ceiling this time. I'll make up that number. Okay. All right, so on this, let's go with, I'm going to go 16-inch gaps again. I know it might be a weird gap in there, but 16-inch gaps. So 16 divided by 12 is 1.3. All right, so our insulation rolls are going to come in 16-inch wide bands. Wide rolls or bands, however you want to say it. Rolls, maybe that's a better way. So it's 16 inches wide, which is 1.3 feet. I think that's pretty standard. You can get ones that are 12. I think that's what the house uses, so you can get kind of any size. I think I picked 16 as default because that's the one we did on Friday. That's the ones I'm used to anyway. We do need a length of the roll. Now the rolls can be different lengths. What do you guys use at the house? How long are those rolls?
They come in joint packs, so there's
Yeah.
like 8 by 8 feet.
Say it again?
There's 8 feet, but then there's 8 of them.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so,
They're probably a lot more expensive.
yeah, probably. So, yeah, the ones I think I found online the other day, I think they were 20 feet, 24 feet, something like that. Let's go 24 feet. 24-foot rolls, long. That's the length of those rolls. So, these are the rolls for my insulation. I will provide you both of those numbers today, and the dimensions of the actual room. But yeah, so yours are pretty long, and that's kind of a weird size. So yeah, I can understand what they're doing there, because they're fitting like perfectly, aren't they? You just like buy and you just roll it.
Our ceilings are 9 feet. You have a foot of gap in the bottom.
Oh, weird. It's for all the electrical and stuff, and all the. Oh, weird. Okay. All right, that works.
In the rooms, they would like that.
Yeah, I always leave the gap at the bottom.
Otherwise, in like the kitchen and stuff,
They go all the way down. Yeah, probably for electrical and other things. I wonder if it's by code they have to do that now. Okay. All right. Anyway, we're not going to leave a gap at the bottom. We're going to go from from floor to ceiling. We're just going to roll these things all out. I know that you probably wouldn't, because you have to have some electrical lines going through there so you know where they're at. Because that's usually where the sockets are, so that's probably why they do it. But we're going to go floor to ceiling, 16-inch band. So what we need to find right now is, how many like rows we're going to have in each of these walls. What I mean by that is like how many strips going up and down am I going to need, right? So as best I can. So I'm going to take my 20-foot room here that I'm using the top one. It's 20 feet. I'm going to divide by 1.3. So there's going to be about 15 gaps right here between. Now there's a little bit more, but we're going to just spread it out, so there's going to be just kind of a weird gap maybe on the end that we won't need. So we're gonna have 15. So and this would be the outsides of this like room, I guess. So we're going to have 15 strips here. Now, how tall is this? How tall are these ceilings or these walls? They're 8 feet. So if my strips come in 24-foot long bands, that means if I need 15 strips of 8 feet tall, well, the idea is that I'm gonna have to buy a bunch of these to make sure that it fits. It's every three strips, that's another roll if you think about it, because here I'll highlight this. It's 8 feet tall. So after 3 of these going up into the ceiling, up the wall, that's one roll gone, right? 8, 8, and 8 make 24. So there's one roll. How many of those do I need to do?
A little over 5, actually.
But a little over 5. Yeah. So the idea is that if I need 15 strips of 8 feet, every 3 of them will be, a roll, and I have to go to 15 strips. That means I'll need to do at least 5. So I'm going to have 5 rolls here to finish that wall out. 5 rolls, because every 3 gaps, that's 1 strip. That's one band. That's one roll. So 5 rolls total. So now we need a price. You guys get to pick. What's the price you guys pay for the insulation out of the house? Do you guys know?
I have no clue.
No clue. What was the price we found the other day? Let me bring it up on the
It's like
website.
$11.
Was it $11? Yeah, let's just do 11. I like $11. All right, $11 a roll. Let's use that number. I have no idea if that sounds good. I'll go with it. $11 a roll. Okay. So right now we're already at $55. That's one wall. Ooh, a little expensive.
And then we're gonna need the same ones down here.
Yeah, so we'll need another 5 rolls down here for this wall, because that's the exact same dimension. It's $11. So far this is $55 down here. This was $55 up here. Now again, how I figure those out, I figure out how many strips I need in the walls, then figure out, how many rolls I'll need to fill those strips. So you just got to figure it out. All right, so now going the other direction. So over here, so now I'm on the side walls, and yeah, we're gonna do it for all 4 walls. Usually you don't do it in the interior. I don't think that's what you guys do, right? You just the exterior. Yeah, that's pretty normal. We're gonna do it for all 4 walls, so you don't have to really think about this one. Okay, so we got to figure out the strips. So we got certain strips going up. Okay, so what I need to do is figure out how many strips I'm gonna need. So I'm gonna take my 15-foot, length of this room or that wall there, divide by 1.3. It's about 11 and a half. Let's go. I don't know if I want to go 12. Let's go just 11 here. Let's go 11 strips. It's probably more 12. It's 11.5, but I don't want to do a 0.5. So we'll just spread out. Maybe we'll make one of the joists a little wider. Maybe that's under a window. We can get away with it a little bit. So we'll go 11 strips. So every 3 is 1 roll. So if we make this, actually, if we just make that 12, that'll work out nice and pretty. Let's go 12. We'll just make it work. So we'll just really squeeze it in or cut it down. So we'll go 12. So every 3. So how many rolls am I going to need if it takes 12 strips going up and down? 4. So I'll need 4 rolls here. So that's $44 worth. Now again, how I figure that out? To figure out the strips, I took the 15 and I divide by how wide the bands are. That's how I'm getting that. I need 12 strips. So every 3 will be a roll. So 3, 6, 9, and 12. So yeah, I need 4 rolls. So this is 4 rolls over here for this wall because it's the same dimension. It's $44 for that one. So total, we add them all up. 55,
98.
44, 55, 44, and say it again.
198.
198. $198. Now think about this. Think about all the stuff we've done to these rooms. We did carpeting or paint. We did light fixtures. The power sockets. We haven't even talked about wiring yet. Insulation, drywall. We haven't even talked about digging the foundation, getting the permits. Contractor pricing. Because they need to make money. They're not going to just charge you the cost. They're gonna have to pay their employees.
Unless you do it yourself.
Unless you do it yourself, you can save a lot of money, obviously, as you can tell. But this is expensive. It's starting to add up a little bit, and we haven't even furnished the room yet. We haven't put furniture in there yet. So these are little things you need to think about. Is like, yeah, let's go add an addition. Let's make a bigger bedroom for myself. That's a lot of money. It's quite a bit. Just for the insulation alone, we're looking at $198 for this room, just one room. If you're going to do all 4 walls, but you probably wouldn't. But okay, does that make sense? What we're doing here? Okay, all right. You have homework. It's the Google form has already went live. There is 3 questions for just drywall. There's 3 questions for insulation. That's it. It's due Wednesday.
So there's 6 questions total.
6 questions total. That's it. It's pretty straightforward. I give you all the dimensions you need. I give you the dimensions of the room. Now, when I give you the dimensions of the room, It'll be 3 numbers: length, width, and then the last number for the room is always the height of the ceiling, just so you know. So that's the last wall. It's usually like 8 feet, 9 feet, or whatever. Yes, you may. So just make sure that you understand. Yep. But this will be due on Wednesday. We'll still review some of this tomorrow, just to make sure you know what you're doing, and then we're going to start looking at some other stuff tomorrow. We have a couple more things we have to put into the rooms, so to talk about finishing it up. So, and that'll be tomorrow. All right, I'm going to stop this here.